Welcome to Beyond the Closing Table with Setco Services. In this podcast, we delve into the world of real estate and explore what happens beyond the closing table. Join us for insightful discussions and expert interviews that will change the way you see real estate transactions.
Well, I'll tell you the story. Most people that say Frizzell are based on Mrs. Frizzell's school bus.
Yeah.
They knew that magic school bus story. Everybody watched that in kindergarten.
Uh-huh.
She's the only person in the United States that pronounces it that way because she doesn't know how to spell. Because if you look at Bell, Sell, Dell, Fell, all the words in the alphabet that are E-L-L, it's pronounced Frizzell.
Frizzell.
I've even known people that put an E on the end of their name, like so it look like Gazelle, so they pronounce it Frizzell. But I haven't changed mine.
So it's Frizzell.
It's Frizzell.
So what you're saying is I just don't know how to talk.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Hey, did we get all that? That's good. We're going to start with that. That's awesome.
I'm just saying you hadn't been made aware.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. And that, folks, is Mr. Ken Frizzell. Not pronounced like my country bumpkin. You know what? Frizzle.
Yeah.
I'm from Memphis, Ken. So, I was just trying to make you a rapper.
Well, I'm from Murfreesboro, the south of Nashville.
Okay. Well, let's get into it. So where are you from originally?
Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Okay.
It's about 30 miles south of Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And
I know Murfreesboro.
Lived there all my life until 9 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, tell us about growing up in Murfreesboro.
Well, I actually grew up in Rockville, Tennessee, which is outside Murfreesboro.
Okay.
And it's unincorporated.
Have you ever been to Carthage?
Yes, I have.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
I went to a amateur stock car race there one
Oh,
time.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet that was interesting.
You talk about going back in time.
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
So it was our wives came in there with us, and I think the record player stopped. but it was an interesting experience. But
yeah, I lived in Rockville. I think it's because of all the rocks.
Yeah, that's why they called it Rockville. Okay, makes sense.
We had a small little farm, and Dad said everybody raised cattle, they raised horses, and we did different things. He said, but they always had signs out front. He said, I'm going to put a sign in front of our place and call it Cedar Rock Farm.
Okay.
Because it was all cedar trees and rocks.
Okay.
80 something acres of it.
But so he did it? It was called Cedar Rock?
That's what it was known as because they said, where do you live? Like Cedar Rock Farm.
Were you you grew up on a farm kind of?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it a working farm or?
Yeah. My dad, he worked in Nashville.
Okay.
At Avco Air Structures.
Okay.
And started out there driving rivets and plane wings and retired as a senior engineering manager.
Okay.
For
his way up.
For airplanes. So anyway, yeah, we had a farm and tried different things, tried pigs and hogs, and they tore everything up.
Yep.
Tried sheep, and they were high maintenance. So then we just got into beef cattle.
Okay.
You raise them, and then you sell them.
Yep.
Other than that, they just eat.
Just don't come attached to them.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when he worked a lot of times on weekends or overtime. So I'd be the one to go out there in the night with the foxes barking off in the distance with my German Shepherd and go up in the loft and drag hay bales across and drop them into the loft for the cows.
Okay.
And so yeah, we did a lot of that.
So put you to work.
Yeah, I worked the whole time. Mm-hmm. He taught me how to work because I remember we went to Sears.
Yeah.
Sears and Roebuck.
Yeah.
And I wanted a go-kart.
Okay.
He said, okay.
I wanted a go-kart too when I was younger. My mom didn't like it.
Well, Dad said, well, okay, we'll find a way for you to earn the money for it.
Yeah.
So we got home and he said, okay, I'm going to give you one of these young calves. You raise that calf until she has a calf. And the two of those, when we take them to auction, will be enough for that go-kart. Of course, that took a year.
Yeah. I was going to say.
But that was another way for him to make me work the farm.
Yeah.
And sure enough, after a year, we took it and there was enough money. We left, got in the car. He drove down to Nashville, picked up the go-kart, and we came back.
Well, incentive-based.
Incentive-based.
Yeah. I mean, you got rewarded for your effort, at least. It wasn't just get your ass out there and get to work.
That's right. I learned
you got something in return that you felt like you earned it.
You got rewards.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Right.
I love that. So how was growing up there, high school-wise? Small. This wasn't a small town, but
you were a small town because our high school.
But Cedar Rock, it may have been a little smaller.
Our our high school, which we didn't have kindergarten back then. I was born in 1953.
I wasn't going to tell anybody your age. Okay?
Yeah, I know I don't look it, but I'm 72.
If they could probably tell on YouTube. No, you're not 72, are you?
Yeah.
You're pretty damn good for 72, kid.
The salt water keeps you this way.
Yeah. We've only been here 9 years.
That's only been here 9 years.
So you haven't aged a bit in 9 years, right?
I'm back in time. It's pulled the wrinkles out of my face.
I got to try that. I'm starting to feel it a little in here.
Yeah. Yeah, when we lived on the beach, I was out there every day.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yep.
Salt air is good for you.
Yeah, and I got all the melanoma scars to prove it.
Yep. I was just saying I bet you didn't grow up on sunscreen.
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. You never wore sunscreen out in the farm. And then when we moved in the city, even when I was a young adult, I always had a boat until the time we got married. I get married when I was 41.
Okay.
Because I was living a lot, had a great job.
Well, hold on now. I'm not skipping over that. Go back. Hold on now. So you said you moved into the city.
Yeah.
Did you go to high school in Murfreesboro?
Yes.
Did you play sports?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Nothing. You just worked on a farm.
Yeah. I was in sports in a small school. Our small school was first grade to 12th grade. And we had 300 students.
Okay.
And by the time they got to be a senior, each class went down in size. Some became farmers and never graduated.
Yeah.
But I did graduate, of course, and spanked my way through the high school there.
All right. You made it through.
Made it through it. When I moved into Murfreesboro, they just had one school.
This is after high school?
This was high school.
Central
High School, 4 grades, freshman through senior, 2,500 students.
Okay. Little culture shock.
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd that go for you?
It did okay.
Yeah.
It did okay. I wasn't a scholar student. I did what I did to get by.
Did you rebel because of the change in atmosphere? No,
I was always pretty calm.
Okay. You're a good kid.
Yeah.
Just
I was rambunctious.
Didn't really like school.
Yeah.
You're not that special.
Well, yeah. My mother asked me before she died. I was sitting out in her patio room one day with Dad, and she said, when you were young, they didn't have ADHD. You were very rambunctious. I said, Yes, ma'am. And she said, it seemed like we had to whip you an awful lot.
Yep.
I said, yes, ma'am. She said, did you ever hold that against us? And I thought a minute, and I said, no, ma'am, because I can't think of a time I didn't deserve it.
There you go.
They gave me a warning. I got one warning, and sometimes it was a look or a Kenneth Lloyd, and that was it.
Yeah.
And if I did it again, then I was getting a whipping. And when Mom and Dad were working, a little lady that would come over, looked like a Granny on Beverly Hillbillies. I don't remember that show.
Mm-hmm.
She used to keep us, but she could snatch and swing a switch quicker than anybody ever did. So I stayed in line for her too,
Uh-huh.
But I think it helped me develop.
It was a different day and time.
It was discipline.
Young people need to listen up out there.
That's right.
Hey, we're kindred spirits.
Yeah.
If by all accounts, I probably have ADHD, but I was never medicated for it. And I'm similar in that every time I got in trouble, I deserved it.
Yeah. When I first got married with my wife, she was an English teacher and retired as an English teacher. She took me to a doctor to see if I could be diagnosed with ADHD.
Your first wife?
Yeah, my only wife.
Okay, your only wife.
And I went through all the testing and everything. They said, no, he's very intelligent. And he's just always thinking about a lot of things at the same time. So she accepted it.
Okay.
She thought she could brand me.
Okay.
But she couldn't.
So this is curious. Are you still married?
Yes.
Okay. Same lady.
Yeah, same lady. We've been married ever since February 25th, 1995.
Congratulations, my friend.
I can't say that it hadn't been rough times.
Oh.
Because there had, but a lot of times people, when it gets a little rough, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Or they think, even if it's not rough, well, I kind of like what's over there.
Yeah.
But I was raised a Christian. I was raised to honor your wife. And she was raised the same way too. And even though she'd been divorced twice before, we hung tight. If things got bad, in the early days, we would go to counseling because we didn't know we were young and didn't know how to do things. But Now we just sit down and talk it out.
Yeah.
And or apologize. I remember one day I was walking out of the house with my son before he passed away, and I was getting ready to leave, and I never left the house mad. That was one of our rules: never depart mad. You never know what will happen.
Sure.
So I was walking around the house, and we were discussing something that we were both thought a lot about. You know, we both knew we were right.
You were expressing yourselves.
We both knew we were right. We got ready to go. I said, well, you know what? I love you, and you're right, and I apologize. Of course, she stopped. She said, well, thank you. I love you. Walked out the door. We get in the truck. My son goes, Dad, why'd you do that? I said, what? He said, why'd you apologize? He said, you were right. I said, son, do you see any scars or bruises on me? He said, no. I said, is Mom happy? He said, yep. I said, I just looked at him. He grinned real big and just turned back around because he realized that you don't have to win every fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good. So can I go back to why did your wife want you to get tested? Was there I mean, clearly you've had a great marriage. You're still together, you know, so yeah. Why? What was the trigger to go get it at the young age of 41?
Okay. When we got married, we went directly and got on a cruise.
Okay.
And I got us a nice suite or stateroom on the top floor. We had a balcony. Walk out there. Well, I'd never been on a cruise ship, never been out of the county, hardly. Well, I take that back. I used to travel all the time with work. But anyway, I just wanted to see all these new experiences in all these different countries because we went along the Caribbean.
Okay.
So I was up early in the morning, and I'm going downstairs and getting all the brochures. It's what's it says stop and looking what to book and all this. And I would come out, spread all this out before she had her coffee. And then I learned you don't talk to her until she's had her coffee. So I'll sit there waiting, and she'd say, go ahead. So I give her the spiel. And then I was like that the whole 3 to 4 days we were there.
Okay.
And she told her friends when we got back, she said, if I could have picked him up, I would have thrown him over the balcony. Well, I was just always busy like that. I've always been a busy person. And so she thought that was something wrong because of students she had dealt with.
Well, this is someone else's line, but I also believe in it. I think it's a superpower when you can focus it.
Yeah.
It is. Some people have that ability and some people don't.
Yeah, so, sometimes I get
it. But that's the first I've heard of anybody's wife taking them at, while they're in their 40s to get tested for it, though. Gotta be honest about that one, Ken. So flip back to, you went to high school in Murfreesboro, and then where'd you go from there?
Well,
you go to schools, your career?
The whole time I was in high school, I worked.
Yep.
My first job was as a janitor in this little insurance building.
Okay.
So I got a check from that. And then, of course, took the regular route. So I was a bagger at a grocery store. Then I went to fry cook at a little hamburger joint. But my goal was to always get a job that I could go somewhere. So as soon as I graduated high school and turned 18, I went and applied for factory work. Didn't know why, but I wanted to get into manufacturing. Because I was raised on a farm. My dad always fixed everything. He taught me how to fix everything. I can fix anything.
Makes sense.
So I said, I can't get a maintenance job or something like that, but if I can just get in the door. Just get in the door. So I get in the door at the Chrome Locks plant in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and started there and worked there 5 years. I went from a sandblaster operator on the afternoon shift.
Okay.
And from there, I was, even as a sandblast operator, I always kept everything organized. I always felt, so then they moved me up to a line lead on day shift. And from there, they moved me into an engineering trainee position. And so I did that. And so then that company, their prime product was the Mr. Coffee Maker heating elements.
Okay.
Even though it was a large operation, they made dryer elements and all that, but that was the main thing. So when the Mr. Coffee Makers went away, it started fading off. And so they started cutting me back to 4 days a week. So I kind of saw, okay, there's something coming. So I started looking around. And so sure enough, I had a motorcycle wreck, hit a car.
Ooh.
And they put it on that billboard because it made the news because I stopped traffic there in the middle of Murfreesboro. They had a picture of me laying in the street with my long hair next to my chopper motorcycle.
Were you okay?
Yeah, I broke my foot.
What do you mean they put it on the billboard?
It worked.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought you meant like the
No.
billboard. Like, look at this hippie laid out.
Because it was in the paper. They got it out of the paper.
Okay.
It made the front page.
Oh, on your work billboard.
So,
Got it.
Yeah, they put it on the little work board, and under it said #1 in the hit parade. So I got ready to come back to work. They laid me off. Well, it was good. It was late spring, early summer. Cool, So anyway, sure enough, so while I was laid off, I don't stay still. So I went to a VOTEC school, technical school, training center.
Yeah.
And learned tool and die.
Learn what?
Tool and die. How to.
Okay. I got you. Tool and die. Got it.
And so while I was there.
The Murfreesboro came out. I lost you for a second.
When I was in high school, I loved math.
Okay.
And I was okay with geometry, but there's one that where the train A, the train B stuff, all that fictional stuff.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get that. Mine was,
I'm in the thick of it right now with my kids. So, yeah, I get you.
But I aced trigonometry.
Okay.
1 and 2. So anyway, when I went to the school, of course, working all the time on the farm, I knew how to make stuff. So I was pulling ahead of the other guys. About 2/3 of the way through, our trigonometry teacher quit and went somewhere else because that was one of the required classes. Well, they had seen all my test results, so they made me the interim teacher for trigonometry during the class. So toward the end, the guy said, you're ready to go to work. Just find you a job. So I went back. I ran into my old manager one day in the store, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "You enjoying being laid off?" I said, "No, I'm taking technical school training." He said, "For what?" I said, "Well, tool and die." Oh. Actually, it was an HR person. So 2 days later, they called me in. My manager was talking to me. I understand you're in training school. Yeah. He said, "Well, you can get a tool and die job here." Because they didn't want to lose me. And I said, "Well, that's great." I said, "So are you going to provide an opening for me, or when there's an opening, are you going to put me into that?" Because he was over them too. He goes, "Well, no, if a job comes up on the board, you can put in for it like everybody else." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Good. I quit." And he says, "Well, if you quit, you're going to lose all your layoff money." I said, "I don't care. It's the principle. I quit."
Yeah.
So I walked out. So anyway, I need to shorten some of these stories.
No, you're good, bud. Don't worry about it.
We have to have part 2.
Yeah, that's okay too. I love to have you back. We may not even get to real estate today, or how you even got to the beach. Let's see. But so, all right, what'd you do after that? You still got this?
I got the tool and die job.
Okay.
I walked into
where at? A different place.
Murfreesboro.
Okay.
Murfreesboro Tool and Engineering. A friend of mine's dad owned his own business. So I went and talked to him. He said, "Well, I've already got enough people for the machines I've got, but sometimes we have jobs that lay over." And he knew me. He said, "Would you be interested in working afternoon shift all by yourself?" I said, "Yeah, I don't have a problem with that," because he knew I was responsible.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Well, I was kind of excelling above and beyond what the guys his regular guys were doing. So anyway, when I finally get to day shift, they realized I'd taken some courses for drafting when I went to high school and to college, which I didn't finish. And because job opportunities kept coming.
Judgment-free zone here, sir.
Yeah, okay. I didn't like what they were teaching me.
Gotcha.
They wouldn't teach me what I wanted to learn. So I'll say on that. It's good for some people. I mean, it was late in my life before I retired. I put in for a job. I worked at the Nissan Corporation. I'm just jumping forward a little bit because I got that ADHD.
Yeah.
So I put in for a job, and the job requirements were based on whoever was the president of the company. If they went to college and they had the supersonic degree, they wanted everybody in management positions to have degrees.
Okay.
But if there's somebody that came from a manufacturing background, they didn't require so it shifted.
Okay.
So anyway, I applied for one senior manager position, and they narrowed it down to me and another guy that was already the section manager in that part of the plant. So the guy called me in. He said, "I just wanted tell you face to face why you didn't get the job. He said, I didn't think it was fair for you to get a form letter. I said, that's fine. I said, did you give the job to blank, which was the section manager, which was next in command? He goes, well, actually, I did. I said, good. He's well qualified. I know him very well. He's already in that place. He knows everything's going on. I said, thank you. Thank you for calling me in. You made the right decision. And it kind of blew him away.
Yeah.
But anyway, that job was a senior manager, didn't require a degree. Well, a few years later, before I retired, I put in for the same position in another part of the plant, another part of the company. Well, I kept looking at the job board. I didn't get my interview. And then I saw that they'd filled it. So I went to HR. I said, why wasn't I interviewed for that job? Oh, you didn't meet some of the requirements. I said, name one. Well, you didn't have a management history with the company. I said, well, roll back to the end of, anyway, it started in 1990. The plant manager put me on night shift from an engineering job to run a maintenance group, and I was a maintenance supervisor for a year. Then he brought me back as senior engineer, and then he promoted me to section manager over all the supervisors and all the engineers in the plant, 80 people. And I did that for 10 years. And they started looking through our paperwork, and he said, oh, our records don't go back that far. I said, well, that's a shame. I said, what else you got? And they said, well, you didn't meet the degree requirement. Did you finish college? I said, no, I didn't. So that's why. And I knew another guy that was a senior manager, and he had a teaching degree. And mine was a technical degree. It's over robotics and automation and all this other stuff and all those people. So if I had gone to college and gotten an art degree, I would qualify for this high-tech job. Well, yes, you would. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So anyway, I started thinking retirement. So anyway.
Yeah, that was it for you?
Yeah.
So what were you doing? You worked at Nissan at a car plant?
Yeah.
So what were you doing there? Well, it sounded like you're doing a bunch of different stuff.
When I left the tool and die company, and I told other people, I said, you need to come to Nissan. It's where things are going. And I told people back to the Comox plant, yes, well, you better get in here. Your area's going down. So anyway, I wanted to get in the door. So I was a tool and die maker, but their tool and die section was very small. I thought, if I just get in the door. So I applied for a maintenance position. Paid less, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes you make less to make more. So I got hired. And when I got hired, the maintenance supervisor, one of the engineers came over. He says, well, I need to move this stanchion here. Can you move it a millimeter? I said, I can move it 1/10 of a millimeter if you want me to. So anyway, I just worked hard. And after a year, they moved me into maintenance engineering. I did that for 4 or 5 years. They sent me to one morning. I'm sitting in the office, and the plant manager walks out and he goes, Ken, I need you to come talk to me. I said, okay. Well, from time to time, we would go to night shift to see what they have different problems than day shift. They just do. Mm-hmm. He said, I need you to go to night shift for a little while. I said, okay. Elton, how long? A year? And I was kind of, I said, a year? He said, you're the new maintenance supervisor on second shift. Well, I'm 30 years old. Or at that time, I was probably 34, 35. But all the maintenance guys, they're in like 50s and 60s. Mm-hmm. Doing it forever. And I said, okay, I'll think about it overnight. He says, well, if you think it makes a difference in my decision, you can. So I already knew I was going. Yeah. So I thought about it. I came in the next morning, tapped on his door. I said, Elton, I'm going to night shift. He said, that's the right choice. So anyway, I did that for a year. And
did the guys respect you?
They did. The very first night I was there was something that was broke. It was a major deal. It shut down the line. One of the maintenance guys is overhead working on something. The other guy is one of the old salty guys, right? Mm-hmm. Which he and I got to know each other really well. Kenny McKinney, I'll never forget his name. He's standing there. I said, Kenny, what's going on? We blew a well timer up there. That's all he told me. So I just looked at him. I said, what are you doing about it? Mm-hmm. I just went and got a part from stores, and I took it up there to him, and he's fixing it, and he's just waiting for me to start the robot. And I said, Thank you. I appreciate that. Try to give me a little better definition next time. But they like that.
Yeah.
So when at the last night before I left, I got them all together in one of the HR rooms. I said, nobody's in trouble. I said, I just got a question for you. In the year that I've been here, I'd just like to know what your opinion was of me. Well, of course, you get the opinions, oh, you're great, blah, blah. But the best one I had, the guy says, we didn't always agree with what you did, but you were always fair. And I thought that's the best I could do because I had some guys that, I didn't know how they got in the door. I had some guys that were super, and I could eat lunch with them, got along with them. But every time the guy at the bottom had a problem or needed something, I would think, okay, what would I do for Mike? Or if Mike wanted an extra day off and there wasn't any open slots, what would I do for Billy? And that's how I ran my crew.
Yeah.
So that was the best thing I ever got.
Love it. And management experience too.
Yeah.
Young age or younger age.
So I went through and got into section manager, and then I was project manager for all new projects in our body shop. So what that meant was, let's say the Altima, they've got, and I was always 3 years ahead. So let's say it's 2026. So 2029, they're going to do a body change on the Altima.
Okay.
I would start getting involved. I start meeting with the designers. Of course, they didn't know. So they would just say, okay, it's going to be 2 inches lower, 1.5 inches wider, 3 inches longer. Okay. What does that affect in your factory, your plant? So you learn after a while, okay, this equipment's going to have this many details changed, and that's going to take this much time, and blah, blah, blah. And you go through the entire factory like that to give an estimate. Because I would have
the entire assembly line, right?
Yeah. Yeah. From start to finish. They came in as stampings from the stamping plant. When they left us, they went to be painted. And
so, but you're trying to plan on changes. This is intriguing to me.
Yeah.
When you really don't have a actual body of a car.
Right.
Okay.
You kind of go back and say, okay.
What, can you tell?
You just take these little small pieces and you keep building them until you've got a plan for the plant. And sometimes these estimates will be $2.5 to $3 million.
Yeah.
Off the cuff.
To change the assembly line for the new model.
But I would usually hit that number or better.
Okay.
And so then they start the designs. And so I start traveling to the houses, to build houses, sometimes in Detroit, sometimes in Kentucky, but mostly in Japan. During my career, I went to Japan 54 times.
Really?
Yeah. So got to know it really well.
You like it?
Love it. I love to go back, especially during the Sakura season, which is when all the cherry blossoms are blooming.
Uh-huh.
They've got trees over there bigger than oak trees, and they cover an entire mountain.
Yeah.
And you can't put it on a postcard,
I went when I was 10. We're thinking about going back this year, actually.
Well, there you go. I got some ideas where you can go.
All right. I'm going to hit you up for that.
I went from the northernmost part all the way down to Hiroshima.
Okay.
And everything in between. And
interesting. So you spent how many years with Nissan?
I was there 34 years.
Okay.
Almost 35.
All right.
So I worked at my first job, 5 years. Second job, 5 years. I worked at Nissan, 35. So I'm at 45 years. So I retired.
Wait a second. I want to know why you waited till 41 to get married.
You know what?
Were you a playboy at the Nissan plant?
I never mixed my job with my work. My fun. I tried.
Sound like you got a crew of dudes. So cool.
But actually, my the way I met my wife was through a blind date set up by 2 people within the plant. So she didn't work for the plant.
Okay.
But a guy that I knew that was single, and a woman she knew and she used to country dance with, she said, I need to set somebody. So they got together, set us up on a blind date.
Okay.
Right. And I'll try to cut that short, but at 41, I knew what I wanted.
Uh-huh.
I just couldn't find it. I met a lot of nice ladies and almost fell in love with a few of them, but there was something, some of them had real mean exes. I mean, call and threaten to shoot me and stuff like that. Okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then, or they just had their children at home maybe weren't respectful. It just wasn't something I wanted to go into because I couldn't correct. They had already set in their ways. With Doris, she was married in college, had it annulled because they wasn't old enough. They didn't think. And then she married a guy, fell in love with him. They had a child, and a few months in, he decided he didn't want to be a father, so he left. So, okay, this is a good start. Beautiful woman, loves country music. That didn't count. But
that was on your checklist. It's okay to say it, right?
Beautiful woman. Her son was a wonderful child. She had raised him because she was a teacher to be courteous and nice. Now he was 4, but he was like me. He was a BC4. But as I met them, when he would, sometimes he would say yes or no. But when he'd ask me a question, I'd say yes, sir, or no, sir. Well, just through osmosis, he began doing that. So I told her we met on November 13th, 1994, when I was on a blind date.
Okay.
Took her to Nashville, Japanese. Took her to Nashville, my Corvette, with a great Japanese steakhouse.
Wait, don't you work at Nissan?
Well, I had a Nissan.
Okay.
I just didn't use it for dates. Well, here's how I got out of that. Because people say, you're a manager. Why are you not driving a Nissan? Does Nissan make a full-size truck? At that time, they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't then.
Then what about your sports car? Does Nissan make a full-on sports car? Well, they had the 300Z. Oh, yeah, it's kind of a toy.
Yeah.
Which the new ones are
Do they make one with an American V8? Is that what you're asking?
The new ones are fantastic. But I'd had Corvettes in the past.
Yeah.
In the 70s, I had the ones with the big block and blue. They were going. So anyway, took her home. The next day I catch pneumonia and couldn't see her for a week. And so I called her and talked to her. We talked maybe a couple hours every night.
Did she give you pneumonia?
I kind of think she did. She brought it home to school and gave it to me. But I didn't blame her with it.
Gotcha.
So anyway, after a week, we were pretty close.
Yeah.
So going into the end of that month, she was going to her Christmas party for the school. So I picked her up in a limousine, took her back down to Nashville, 101st Airborne, had a nice dinner, coming back. And I always used to write poems, and I can still do it, just don't do it as much. So I put together this poem with a beautiful background, laminated, talked about her being my princess and all this. The very bottom line is, will you marry me? Now, we've known each other for a month, right?
I was making sure I was tracking this timeline correctly, that you didn't jump somewhere with your ADHD, but we're at a month.
I'll try to say skip forward.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway,
so you are proposing a month in.
Yeah. So, cause I knew, she said, everything I'm on, I'm ready to get married.
Okay.
I'm not going to rush anything, but she's the one. And she was ready, but wasn't looking. So anyway, on the way back in the limousine, I said, hey, I wrote you a poem. Oh, good, let me see it. So I give it to her. She reads, she gets down to the bottom of that bottom line. I can see her eyes. She kind of looks, she starts over again. Reads it all the way through. And then reads the last paragraph, and she goes, are you asking me to marry you? I said, yes, Doris. Will you marry me? And she hesitated, but didn't pause. She goes, yes. So we go to the engagement, we go to the Christmas party, and we tell everybody, and everybody's shocked. This guy, mother,
Yep.
But some of them knew me from other things. But we go to the engagement party. Well, a friend of hers who was somebody that was just always speaking her mind, even when he wasn't asked for. I knew her family from Rockville. So I knew her, but
I know that type of girlfriend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm standing in the middle of women. Doris's friends.
Ooh, you're in the den.
Yeah. So they're kind of trying to feel me out, right?
Uh-huh.
Here's Wanda. She goes, Ken, you know that Doris has been married twice before. I said, yes, well, of course I do. She says, what makes you think she won't divorce you?
Oh, damn.
In front of all these people I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, Wanda, I said, you know Doris. She said, yeah. I said, if Doris, after 2 marriages, on her 3rd marriages, if she had to admit that it was her fault, she would never do that. Because they knew, because once she sets her mind to something, she didn't return it.
Yeah.
And we've been married ever since.
Good for y'all.
And there's been tough times, but I was raised, my parents never really had a tough time, but I was raised that when you get to the tougher times, that's when you have to work the hardest.
You're absolutely right.
And when we were young, we didn't know what to do. We went to counselors, but as we've gotten older, if something's bothering one of us, well, nothing bothers me. If something's bothering my wife, we'll sit down at the kitchen table and say, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's usually some little thing that's rolled into a molehill. I'm rolling it, something too large. So anyway.
Anthill, mole, yeah, we got it.
We'll sit there and talk it out.
Yeah.
And even if I do something and I get the quiet thing at night, go, okay, what did I do? What did I do? So I think back, yeah, she was right. She's due an apology.
Yeah.
Before I just say, you know. So I go back in there. I go the next day and go to her daughters. I want to talk to you about something. She went, oh, no. I said, didn't require a reply. We don't need to get into a discussion. But I said, everything that you said last night and the main purpose of our discussion, you're right. And I have to admit I was wrong, and I apologize for that. And she always looks a little shocked. And she goes, well, thank you. Thank you for that. And things go on.
Yeah.
So
sharing that wisdom from your,
it's right from
all those years.
All those years of doing it wrong.
Yeah. Oh, come on. So I of course want to get to how you got here. But you were in the build side, the factory side of the auto industry.
That's right.
For 35 years. What's some of the significant changes that you noticed over the years in that industry?
Well, mostly
like from your perspective in the factory.
The robotics and the automation
was
the big deal. And that's what I specialized in. Didn't have a background in it, but I learned it.
Yeah.
And I even went to the trade schools and I learned everything about it. And I actually ended up as a company representative of the Robotic Industry Association in Detroit. And we wrote the safety standards for the United States.
Okay.
So when I first started at Nissan in 1983, the robots were hydraulic.
That's like the Japanese boom time, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In the 80s. Yeah.
So the robots, they were hydraulic. So the movements in and out and turn was all driven by hydraulic cylinders.
Right.
And that was driven by these relay cabinets. And we didn't know. I mean, the fences at that time were maybe 4 feet tall. It's a warning. The Japanese, you could just put up a fence, they wouldn't go past it. If you put up a 4-foot fence, I'm going over it, right?
Yeah. The difference.
We go in there.
The Americans are rule breakers. Is that what you're saying? Like, oh, let's go see what's in there.
We go in there and watch the robot runs and all this stuff. But you never wanted to be around one of those robots if they failed. Because if the controller for that hydraulic cylinder failed, that thing would go full extension in like a second.
Yeah.
There's no way to get out of it. And it would hit a car, collapse the side, and push it off the line. So anyway, I get involved with a robot.
Did that happen often back then?
I only saw that twice.
Okay. So the gas just blows and it just basically extends out.
So we learned to stand beside them and not in the way.
Yeah.
And I try to be outside the radius where they could turn. But at the end, they are so safe today, there is no way you can get hurt if you follow the guidelines, Yeah. Because it was my job to incorporate all the changes into our plan as we go along. And my position on the board was when we would come up with a safety item, we got all these safety suppliers. They're trying to get their products into the manual, because they want to sell more products.
Yeah.
Well, I represent the factory, and I want to build cars without too much oversight. I want it to be safe, but not crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're very safe and everything now because, the robots, if they're going from one place to another, that robot's calculating the path. It's counting off each micro step that it takes. And if it varies outside that range, it'll shut down immediately. And
they have them now. They're like, basically almost move like a human arm.
Oh, yeah.
What is that? That's some hydraulics, right?
No,
like
it's all electrical servos now.
Okay.
Little electrical servo motors.
Yeah.
And even in the fingers, those would be servo motors up on the top of the hand.
Isn't that wild?
It's wild.
I told my wife I was buying one of those robots to come clean the house. She got insulted. I was like, I thought I was going to be cool. Anyway.
Just to help you out.
Yeah. She said, well, I want one of those damn robots in my house. I'm like, well, I thought it'd be cool.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, a lot of the safety got better?
Much better. One of the points I bring up in the meetings, matter of fact, I was in there one day. I'm the newbie, right? And these guys in there with their suits and ties from Ford and GM, and they're the director of engineering for Ford, sometimes over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm from Ford, and this is the way we've done it, and I know what to do, blah, blah, blah. And here I am, country boy, coming in there telling them what to do, They didn't like it.
Country boy representing the Japanese brand.
That's right.
They really didn't like.
Because when I first started going up there,
what does this guy know?
When I first started going up there in the 80s, the people I worked with say, "Did you see any Nissans in Detroit?" I said, "Yeah, they're mostly in the center of the lane, upside down and burning."
Okay.
But I'll never forget. It's when Ford pulled out because we were.
Just making sure it's good.
We were discussing something, and it was about crossing the fence and getting into the robot because it doesn't matter.
Ford pulled out of the safety discussions.
Yes.
Okay.
And he said, "Well, you got to do this, you got to do that," and I said, "Mister, you can only go so far." I said, "Those guys can jump a fence and ride that robot like a cowboy if they want to. You just got to have a safety environment that shows them not to do that." He rebooted something else. I said, we haven't had a fatality in a Nissan plant since we were put in. They haven't had any in Japan in decades. I can name one plant. There's many. I know all your numbers. I said, your Dearborn plant, blah, 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 over so many years, it's killed this many people. Dear robots. So what makes you think you're safer than me?
Yeah.
He got mad, got up, pulled off his tie and left, and never came back. Which is fine for me.
You hurt his feelings.
I know it. As you know this, we say in Tennessee, bless his heart.
Yeah. I know exactly what that means. Especially if it's from a sweet Southern lady.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a very tactful Southern way of, yeah. Anyway, moving on. All right. So you would say safety. Any other changes in the industry? You may or may not know I'm a car weirdo, so I was just curious about cars.
Yeah, the industry overall, of course, the electric cars coming in.
What do you think about electric?
I'll give you my honest opinion.
Okay.
From a guy that rode in. The Nissan Leaf was the first electric car.
Yep.
Other people.
It was an ugly little son of a bitch.
Yeah, it was ugly. But it was functional and it fly like a jackrabbit.
Yeah, they'll go.
Because they were light and had that, that DC torque. But, and they said that there was a Chevy Volt. So that's their first electric. No, it was a plug-in hybrid. But anyway, it's got a place for it. My sister lived in Nashville, close to downtown, and there was a guy next door that had a Leaf, and I kept seeing it over there. Well, I didn't see a charging station. I said, "Where do you charge your Leaf at?" He goes, "I live down close to the Lowe's Hotel in downtown Nashville. They have a charging station for their customers. I drive down every morning, I plug it in, I work, I unplug it, and come home." He said, "I've owned it 2 years and hadn't paid to plug it in yet." And on the other end,
creative, you gotta give them that.
On the other end, I knew a couple while I lived at the beach that lived in Atlanta. I saw them pulling an electric hybrid one day. Electric. It was one of the new Kias. And I said, "Did you drive that here from Atlanta?" And they said, "Yeah, how?" They said, "Halfway between, there's a Cracker Barrel that has a charging station. So we pull in there and just have us a nice slow lunch, and it gives us enough charge to get the rest of the way here." But on a daily basis, like if you live in Destin, you see a lot of EVs because people are just driving around Destin or Miramar Beach or down here at Rosemary Beach. But if you got to travel, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
The problem is with electric vehicles, and I think they're great, and they do a lot of things, but they don't have the infrastructure to support them. They should have put in the infrastructure and then built the cars.
Mm.
You can look at anywhere you go to rent a car, you can rent the electric car much cheaper because the manufacturers are pushing them into the rental fleet because they can't sell them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots and lots and lots full of electric vehicles that will not sell. You know, you take and I'm just going to pick one out there, the GMC electric pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's sharp looking. I've seen one.
Yep. I've seen one here, maybe two.
But they've got lots and lots on those.
Yeah.
When
Get deals on
those big incentives, you know, hey, there's something wrong here, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, you get the Hummer.
Yeah.
And I think $850 a month.
Yeah.
There's $100,000 plus truck.
Right. And in California.
Oh, that's a shit show.
I know that's a shit show, but if you're not driving far,
well,
and you want to go out and hug one every morning, that's fine for you.
Yeah.
But they're not for the United States of America.
I don't disagree with that one bit.
You wouldn't buy one if you lived in Montana.
Full disclosure, I love Montana, and I go there every summer. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And you're absolutely right. But I did buy a Tesla because it drives me around here.
Yep.
I'm also have multiple other aggressively gas-burning cars. So,
and I love the Tesla. I think Elon's doing a great job with
it. Here's I feel like you don't know me that well, but I don't know why I feel like I automatically have to defend this decision. It's the damn self-driving.
Yeah.
While I work. So I use it as a work car because I go all over the panhandle. I hit a button on so I got the newer one with the newest self-driving thing. It's freaking amazing. As long as I have sunglasses on, I can sit there and text.
Yep.
And I'm working, I'm taking calls, I'm making notes, and it's just driving me around the panhandle. If it was gas, I'd do the same thing. I don't really care. But, you know.
Yeah, there was recently, 3 months ago, a guy drove from New York to Los Angeles in a Tesla and never touched the steering wheel.
Yeah.
He programmed his route. Of course, he had to stop a lot and get charges.
Yeah.
And see, I bought my wife a new Mercedes S-Class.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a similar feature. I have to touch the steering wheel every 45 seconds or so. So a lot of times I'll just rest my hand on it.
Yeah.
When I'm doing stuff, I can feel it turning. She can't stand that. She said, "Don't you let that thing drive when I'm in here." And I made the mistake. 2 weeks ago, we have friends in from Tennessee, right?
Uh-huh.
So we're going down to Beauchamp's to eat. And we're coming up on Airport Road where that curve is. We're going in the curve and we're talking. He said, "Do you ever use it?" I said, "Yeah, look. It's driving itself right now through this curve." He goes, "Oh my God." He turned around to the women in the back. "Look at that. He doesn't have his hands on the steering wheel. He's going through a curve." And I could feel the heat coming off my eyes. She said, "I'm riding where I can see the mirror and what your eyes and what you're doing." And of course, when I got home, Doris, you're right. With them in the new car.
You're saying "I'm sorry, honey" a lot.
Yeah. But you know, I live a good, happy life.
Okay. Well, hey, if that's what makes you work. So
I said, I won't do that again while you're in the car.
There you go.
Yeah.
What
that's why she don't let me drive it when she's not in the car.
Just let her drive.
She didn't like to drive, so I drive her around.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I like to drive. Yeah, there you go.
She had heart surgery 3 years ago at Vanderbilt, not Vanderbilt, Baptist. Anyway, one of the big hospitals in Nashville.
Uh-huh.
So she flew up. I drove the Mercedes. Didn't steer it. So we're coming back. So she's sitting in the back seat with a little heart pillow. Well, the back seat is luxury plus in that Mercedes. And so we got home. She goes, I need to ride in that back seat for a while. She rode in that back seat for at least 2 months. I like to never got her back in the front seat. You want to sit in the front seat? Why? I'm happy back here.
Hey, you said drive Miss Daisy. I've been in the back seat of one of those. They're very comfortable.
Yeah.
Take a nap. I mean, it's nice, especially if somebody's driving you around. So you rolled out a Nissan. Did you immediately pack up and move to the beach? Have y'all been vacationing here before?
I'd never been to Destin before.
Okay.
It was a single man.
A lot of Tennessee comes to the Panhandle.
Yeah, I went to Daytona.
Okay.
I went to Jacksonville. I followed the stock car circuit and the women. That's where I went.
Oh, I was going to say there's a theme there, but it ain't the beach. Because, those beaches are nice, but they're not like ours.
That's right.
But now you're following race cars. Now I get it. Got it.
We first started looking at the Caribbean.
Okay.
And because
this is pre-retirement. You're retired.
I'm getting ready to retire, so we're looking to find.
So you wanted to move once you retired?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And even when I retired 3 months, and all these companies started calling me to come into work, which I wouldn't work for anybody anymore, but I became an engineering consultant. And once I learned what a consultant can make, I should have retired 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did that for 5 years because I want to have my 50-year package of work.
Yeah.
So anyway, we started looking. So we looked in the Caribbean, and we like St. Croix, and you could buy a nice house on the ocean cheap. Kept thinking, there's got to be something there, you know. So started looking at the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, it's not anything. There's flip-flops and places to eat.
And those can be questionable.
Yeah, so I talked to a realtor. You need a doctor then, right?
Yeah.
So I talked to a realtor, and I said, so what happens if I have a kidney stone or maybe a stroke? You don't know her. They said, well, you must wait till the next morning to catch a boat to the next island that can fly you to an island that has a hospital. Otherwise known as not going to make it.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, we better get back on the mainland. And Doris said, well, Destin's a straight drive down. I know a lot of people that go down there. My friends go down there. I've been down there. Okay, show me some pictures. She pulls up a picture of the beach and the emerald water. I'm raised in Rockville, right? Swimming in ponds.
Yeah.
And I said,
you know they made water like that.
I'm not going there. That water's green.
Well, where you grew up, when it's supposed to be brown?
No, it was green from the algae.
Yeah, I know.
So it's only brown if you had hogs.
Yeah.
So
I grew up going to Pickwick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great place.
South of you, but still.
So anyway, we started looking at Destin, and we looked for, I'll say, a year.
So you're still kind of working as a consultant.
I'm still working. And still working at Nissan.
Making way better money.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So we started looking, and actually I was still working at Nissan. So anyway, we started looking, and after 9 months, we narrowed it down to 5 properties.
Okay.
I told her, I said, all I want is to be able to stand on the balcony and look 180 degrees and not see another building. I want to see the beach.
Oh, okay. I was like,
so it's hard to do.
It's going to be tough.
So anyway, I found one just like that in Destin. Now, after she retired as a school teacher, she opened her own business. It was called Simply Sophisticated, and she went and took courses in another state and became a home stager and home decorator.
Okay.
When she retired from that, she goes, well, all I want is turnkey. I don't want to do anything to it. Nothing. I don't want to buy a pillow. I want to walk in and lay down on the pillow.
Ready to go.
So anyway, she picked hers out, and it was right behind.
Were y'all looking at homes or condos?
Looking at condos. We wanted to be on the beach.
Yeah. I was going to say, her turnkey thing, a condo would be ideal.
So the one she picked out was right behind the back porch in Destin.
Yeah.
Beautiful condo building, but you're looking across the roof of the back porch. I said, let's go the one I picked out first. And it was way underpriced from what I'd seen. And a little lady in Atlanta owned it. And her husband, they'd had it 20 years. Her husband passed away 4 years ago. She hadn't been in it. Had the big valances, the big heavy curtains, thick as your arm.
You're going to have to do some updating.
Yeah, so they were all closed. I mean, the place was full of furniture, and there were giraffes, and all the furniture had elephant feet on them. And I said,
just straight out of the 80s.
What is the theme here? They're either Buddhist or Republicans. What I keep figuring them out.
Republicans.
So
it's a jungle theme, Ken.
Yeah,
they're not Republicans.
I'm not supposed to talk about politics.
Oh no, please go ahead, fire away.
But they had that. But then in the bathrooms they had the jungle thing with the monkeys and all that stuff. So anyway,
okay, so they're animal lovers.
Yeah, they're animal lovers, but nobody else is, right?
Oh, yeah,
because they're wanting palm trees and fish. So anyway, I saw the one I wanted first. We saw hers next, took it off the list. I had 3 others to look at. They were on Okaloosa Island. I checked them off. Came back to the one I liked, and I called her. I said, Doris, I know you don't want to do anything to this place. I said, but it's everything that we really want. Once it's finished, I said, I'll take care of everything. I'll hire the contractors. I'll do everything. You just pick up. All you do is just I said, first of all, we're getting rid of all those curtains, so you don't have to worry about picking out fabrics because I'm replacing. We had 16 floor-to-ceiling windows in that place. I said, I'm putting brand new tinted windows in it. You don't have to worry about that. You just decide what furniture you want and ship it here, and I'll take care of everything else. So I hired a contractor. And of course, some contractors are. I said, I want a weekly update because I was an engineer. I was used to, things being in line. I said, I want a weekly update every Friday with what you've done and a picture. Well, he never sent me any pictures. Well, we've done this, we've done that. So I would fly down, and in the bottom floor of that building, there was a studio you could rent. And I'd rent that studio and stay in there about 3 days. So I'd go up every evening, walk around, come back down. So I called him on Friday morning. I ain't got your update yet. Well, I'm getting ready to put that together. I said, is it same as last week? Well, it's pretty close. You have any pictures? Well, no. I said, well, I tell you what, better than pictures. I'm here. Come meet me at the condo. Well, he might have had a fit. I showed up and I said, okay, that's not finished. That's not started. Went all the way around the thing. We're going to pick up on it and all this stuff. Okay. Well, I come back the next week. Same thing. But I also told him, I said, your contractors are not showing up till 9 a.m. I said, they can work. No, I said, they can work from 9 to 5. That's your work time. I said, your contractors are not showing up till 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they're leaving at 3. I know why they're not getting anything done. Well, most of them live in Panama City. I said, I don't care if they live in Daytona. They got to be here on time and leave on time. So me and him didn't see eye to eye.
You didn't realize that construction also, beach time applies to construction as well here. It's a shocker coming from Tennessee, right?
I found that you can hire contractors that will.
Yeah, you can find the people, but they can be challenging.
So that's who I used after that. But anyway, I didn't see eye to eye, so they gave me another guy, and then he wasn't even qualified. And he said, well, it's about time for you to give us another draw. To pay for our status. I said, well, I'm not paying it because you're not where you should be. Yeah, but it wasn't set up on what was done. It was set up on a quarterly payment. I said, I'm not paying it. He said, well, I'll see you. I said, good, bring it on. I said, I've got a receipt for every airplane ticket I took, for every condo stay I made, for every rental car I made. I said, I'll come out ahead. You bring it on. So I went downstairs and canceled their pass into the building. So when they showed up, we can't get in. I said, no, you're not allowed in here anymore. So I went to the subs the next morning. I said, contractor's gone. I said, I've got a management background working at I said, I can handle this. So let's start. Person number 1, what do you do? I'm a painter. What would you like to paint today? I'd like to paint this. Okay. Next guy. What do you do? I'm a trim guy. Okay. Do you see anything that you want to do that's going to conflict with the painter? No. Okay. Next guy, what do you do? Well, you put up the rough work, The other guy would come in and put in the trim. What do you want to do? I want to do this. I said, okay, what are one of these two guys conflict with you? Well, he's wanting to pull ahead trim, and I'm not finished that room. I need to just finish that room, and he can have it, and he can do all he wants to instead of one of them at a time. Go back to this guy. Can you move to another room that you can complete while this guy completes this room? Yeah. And I went to every contractor, wiring contractors, everybody. And by the end, there was a plan. Nobody was conflicting that day. And they went to work. Well, they loved it because they didn't waste their time as contractors waiting on somebody else.
Yeah, because they're paid by the job too.
They were paying by the job. And as it got toward the end, a couple of them came to me and said, have you ever thought about being a contractor? I said, no. They said, you'd make a great one, and we'd work for you in a minute.
It's just going to be an organized.
That's right.
Structured things. Good for you.
So
you got it done?
Got it done. My wife picked out the furniture. We always buy our furniture out of North Carolina where it's built. There's a place in there. It's a big, huge mall that's hooked to all the different furniture companies.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy it at a great price, great furniture, all American made. And she would pick stuff out and it'd be shipped in, and I would meet them at the storage unit. I'd rent it and have them put it in storage. So got the place done. I hired a moving company, Muscle Movers out of Destin. I give them a plug. They're great guys. But they came over and moved everything into the condo and put it where I had it placed. I'd put tape marks on the floor where everything went. So they put everything in. I hung all the pictures. She said, I want this picture on that one. So when she came in at Christmas with her girlfriends and opened the door, ta-da!
It was ready to go.
Ready to go.
You're a gentleman.
All the bed sheets were on, everything.
I'll tell you what.
Everything's ready to go.
That's a hell of a setup you got there, Ken.
Yeah.
So, all right, this was how many years ago?
That was in...
now, you said she came down. Did y'all move down yet?
That's when we moved down.
Okay.
I was back and forth. We moved in 2017.
Okay.
That's when we bought it. It was that summer. Lived on the beach for 6 years. And then after that 6th year, we moved into Regatta Bay. And that's where we live today.
Okay. So you got own a mission, ADHD, engineering type background. By the way, the only time I've ever gotten up from a closing and walked out, it was an engineer because he wanted to read every word. Respectful,
yeah,
of course, but he wanted to read every word of the loan package. And I said, sir, hey, I'm going to go be right there. I'm here to help you. I'm here to answer questions. But if you want to read every word, I can't change anything in the loan docs. He said, yeah, no problem. So I got up 2 hours later, knocked on my door, ready to go. Like, okay. I mean, he read the entire thing. But anyway, that's my dramatic engineering.
I've had clients like that in real estate that, read the full listing agreement and everything. That's fine.
Yeah, you should.
I want you to understand every part of it. We're going to sit here until you go through every sentence and understand every piece and sign. And just understand there's certain areas you'll see there's not a place for a signature. That's because that's mandated by the state and is a requirement. And all you can do is understand it because you can't change it.
Yeah.
If you want, we can write an addendum. I can do that. So anyway, but I've had people come into the closing table. So, there's even you being a closing company, there's always addendums that come through.
Mm-hmm.
Condominium riders had to be signed, all this different stuff. Standard format. Florida bar, the Florida bar standard forms. You pull them in, you put it out in DocuSign, put their names on it, sign this, send it back. Well, we've read this and we don't agree to some of it. I said, what part? They tell me, I said, well, that's the standard document. That's I can't change that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you write an addendum? Like when an offer came in, can you write an addendum? I said, I can write an addendum and see if the buyer will agree to it.
Yeah.
So I did. I got one. I got a stack of addendums. And sometimes
it's picking you apart, man.
Yeah, and sometimes it would be, well, we've Googled this document. This one's out of.
Oh, let's don't get me started on the attorney chat GPT.
Yeah,
because
I'm glad you did that. So I hope you learned something.
There's a lot more legal experts these days because you could drop a document in there and give it feedback. But so I was going more so. You don't really have any kind of sales background.
No.
And an engineering mind, in my very humble opinion, and I'm painting with a very broad paintbrush, typically aren't good salespeople. So what made you decide to roll into real estate?
Well, our realtor friend in Tennessee, who ended up being my sponsor with Keller Williams, she said, you've got a great personality. And you'd be a great realtor because that's all you really need. You don't need to sell the property. You just need to have a good personality where people like you and believe what you say. Okay. So let me look into that. I said, what do I have to do? Well, you got to get your Florida state license. Okay. What does that take? So I ended up going with, you can get the books and you can do it online, but I'm wandering around sometimes, I get the Audible and I'm watching TV, right? Yeah. So anyway,
you chose for the class.
So yeah, I went to the class, went to the 40-hour class, right there in
self-studying is not your thing, huh?
You went through the whole thing. You had tests after each page, each day. And at the end, you had a test for the whole thing. And then if you pass that, you go to state testing. Easy. And I mean, they went ahead and took your fingerprints, all that stuff, get all your security clearance, whatever else you have to do. But the people that are on the Florida real estate board, bless their heart, are not attached to the real world.
Yeah.
Because they can't, they can only allow, they're not really allowed a realtor on the board. I think it's made up of lawyers and all these other people. Well, the test, because when I was going through the courses, they were saying, you'll never, ever use this chapter, but it's required on the test,
Yeah.
I don't care what happened in 1880. I need to sell a condo today. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, you have to know all that stuff. So I went to take the test, and it's pretty rigorous. It's 100 questions. And you can go to a testing center, which takes you 2 weeks to scan that, or you can do it at home. But it's interesting the way they do it, because you got to clear everything off your desk and everything around you. And then when it's time for your test, you have to pick the computer up and turn it 360
Oh, yeah.
degrees.
Somebody else told me this recently. Yeah.
And show that there's nothing around that within your reach, and that you can use for the test. Okay, I can do that. So anyway, I knew where my weak points were. I took the test. You have to pass 90 out of 100, I believe. And I passed like 88.
You have to get a 90?
Yeah, I think it's 90. Whatever the number is, if it's 80, I did 78.
That's surprising.
But I was close. So anyway, I failed it, rescheduled it first thing the next morning. I went and told my wife, I said, well, I just failed the exam. I said, they told me to expect that, but I've already rescheduled it. Oh, you're going to study and do this, and, for here to get back in the books,
Mm-hmm.
You going to reschedule for next week? I said, I got it scheduled at 6 o'clock in the morning. She said, why? I said, because I know what I did wrong. And I looked in the book on those 4 questions, and I know what I did wrong. Took it the next morning, passed with 100.
Passed. Knocked it out. All right.
So I had to get that. So my friend, who's my sponsor, said, you need to go to Keller Williams. And, I'll give it to them.
You're already here.
Yes,
I'm at this time? Yeah,
I'm
okay.
Here floating in the ocean. Retired my 4th time, wondering what I'm going to do next.
You're doing this on a raft on the Gulf. All right, I got you. Okay.
I've been retired for a year, and I am pacing the beach.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'd already been talking to Keller Williams, told them I have a sponsor. So day one, and the way the sponsorship works, it's Keller Williams is one of the only ones that does profit sharing.
Yeah.
So, like Lisa, my sponsor in Tennessee, who also has a Florida license, became my sponsor. Now, when I close the transaction, then through Keller Williams, not with the closing agency, through Keller Williams, they take a part of the Keller Williams profit and send her a check.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out of me or anything else. So I like that aspect,
Mm-hmm.
And there's some Keller Williams agents, that's all they do is recruit agents.
Yeah.
They don't sell anything. But anyway, Lisa was talking me through everything. So I went to Keller Williams, and I said, I need to know what classes I need to take, and I need to know what's available. So this was in August 2022. So I went to every available class. If I didn't understand it, I'd take it again. And then Lisa, my friend, she said, hey, I got a property over in Okaloosa Island. I got an agent down there. I didn't know they were coming, and they want to see a property. Can you go over there and open it up for them? Sure. I go over and open it. I print off the brochures. I give them to them. I walk them through it. Well, before that, I did drive-throughs with people that were going to show a property, going for listing agreements. I just sit there silent and just took it all in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hands-on learning person. I don't go to the Learning Center. I need hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
And so I did the ride-alongs. I opened Lisa's properties, showed them. I did all that through the winter. People said, when are you going to list your property? I said, no, I don't know yet. You're going to find a buyer? Not yet. I'm not ready yet. When will you know? I said, I'll know when I know.
This is your choice. You're still learning mode, if you will.
Do it or not do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything last year, but it's because I didn't want to. Well, I was sick last year. I'm sorry. So anyway, I got ready on the beginning of March 2023, actually in February, because I needed March is when the first spring break is, but the real thing kicks in, as you know, Memorial Day. Right? Yeah, Labor Day's in the fall.
Yeah.
So I got ready for that. So the building I was in, I found through the Okaloosa, I said, there's got to be a place somewhere that lists all these addresses. So I went through the Okaloosa tax and down through there, and also with Flex MLS, I found a way to get all these addresses. And being an engineer, I imported them in Excel, saved them as a CSV file, and then cut off the columns I didn't need where I could directly import it into the Keller Williams command module. And from there, they could send postcards.
Mm-hmm.
And then go to Canva and design my own postcard, bring that in as a photo, and put together a postcard package that they would email out for me. So anyway, I did that, did it to all the owners. Hey, you know me. This is what I'm doing now. You know me and my wife. If you don't know me, you know my dog, AJ.
You've been there for
6 years.
Yeah. Okay. So
well, at that point in time, I've been there 3 years.
Okay. Long enough to know some people. Yeah.
And they knew I knew.
Plus, all you've been doing is walking up and down the beach, so you probably met everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I talked to everybody. I had a dog, a big golden doodle.
Okay.
Big friendly dog. Everybody wanted another dog. People would come back the next year and go, there's AJ's dad.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. So I sent out my postcard and I just started talking to people. Hey, I'm a realtor. Now, you ever thought about selling your place? So anyway, that first year, I closed $7.2 million in properties.
There you go.
And it was a good year.
Yeah.
2023 was the best year for condo sales in Destin. And I was happy. Now, 2024 wasn't good for me. I was in a hospital 3 different times. Pneumonia, low heart rate, a pacemaker. I wasn't engaged enough to go out and do stuff. Last year I sold one property, but this year I've already got my postcards out and I'm ready to go.
You feeling better?
Feeling great.
Yeah.
Feeling
heart
great.
Good?
Yeah, last October I got into a pain deal and they couldn't find the source of it. And I seriously couldn't open a Splenda packet with my fingers.
Huh.
My hand grip through my physical checks was 45 kilograms, and it dropped to 5 kilograms on the right hand and 2.5 on the left. So they said couldn't find a source. But they knew where the pain was coming from. It was from my neck and my back. So I got injections in my knees. Knee. This one's not mine. Got an injection in my right knee and an injection in my neck, injection in my back. Went through therapy 5 days a week. And I was just somewhere in a doctor's office therapy for 2 months. And when I get home, I just wanted to lay in my recliner, take my pain pills, and just sleep.
Yeah.
So that was my 2024. That was 2025. So anyway, I started turning around this year.
Good.
I'm healthy. I'm ready to go. I'm working outside. My favorite thing to do is landscaping. So I work on my property almost every day, doing tidying stuff up or maintenance work and stuff like that. And so they asked me, so what's your goal this year? I said, well, you look at my history. I said, maybe last year wasn't a good year. I was sick. I can explain that. My best year was $7 million. I know how I did that. I know how to replicate that in today's market. So my goal this year is $10 million.
Love it. So what's your strategy as far as, you said postcards, just meeting people, word of mouth?
Yeah.
Where did you find success that first year?
Through the postcards and word of mouth.
Okay.
Talking to people. Anytime I saw, like if I'm in Publix and I'm getting my sandwich meat for my lovely bride, I talk to people, hey, where are you from? Because you can tell, tourists.
Yeah.
They just got that look. They don't have the smell, but they got the look.
Yeah.
So anyway, hey, where are you
they're
from?
burnt in a bathing suit.
Yeah. With a white
cover up on. Yeah.
So I was like, hey, where are you from? And I get to talking to them and everything. And hey, you ever thought about buying at the beach? Well, no, we couldn't afford that. I said, well, it's more affordable than you think. I said, because you can buy a condo that you can use 4 to 6 times a year. You can rent it out the rest of the year, and that'll pay for your mortgage and your insurance and all that stuff. because your insurance on that's not high on a condo, because you're just insuring the condo, not the building. And I can help you with that. So that's working. I've got found buyers that way.
All right.
I post a lot of stuff on Facebook, Instagram.
So postcards and Publix. I love it.
That's it.
The networking.
P&P.
That's right.
And I do a lot of stuff on Facebook. So they'll say, hey, we're coming down next week. Is there anything available down there? Oh, let me check. I think there's a couple.
Yeah.
There's hundreds, right? So, but I found buyers that way. And just people follow me on Facebook because I don't strictly do real estate. I put out a good morning thing every morning.
Yeah.
If I see something about Destin, I'll take that and post it in Facebook. And then I'll post a property. Or I'll post a property about the beach. There's a Destin service that posts a beautiful picture of the beach every morning with the waves. So I'll take that video, stick it in, and I said, wouldn't you love for this to be your site from your property?
Giving dreamy content.
That's right.
Yeah. Destin's got multiple live feeds. So you said that's not all you do. That's all, I know you talk about posts. Are you anything to do with the car world anymore or automotive world?
No, I don't. I stay in touch with the people, and they have retirement parties in Tennessee where they meet for lunch, and they send me one every month. But it's a long drive.
Yeah, no, I wasn't talking about going to retirement. I didn't know if you were still doing any kind of consulting or anything. That was more along that question.
I could. And actually, after being out of it for 6 years, that world moves so fast.
Yeah.
The technology works so fast. Now, there are companies I could get into, like the one that, like I said, I retired in 2016 on September 15th. That was my dad's birthday. That was my point to retire at. So all these people started calling me. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Da, da, da. So Jim Leahy, a good friend of mine who is now president of a company, called me. He says, I know you're getting calls. There's no doubt. And I know you need to rest. He said, so rest for 3 months and I'm going to call you in December and we'll talk. I said, okay. So he called me December 1st and we started talking. He says, I work in a different company from Nissan, but it's an automotive supplier. Huh. They supplied the roof panels, the door panels, it was all plastic injection, which I had no history with. And he told me about it. I said, I don't know, Jim. I don't know if I'm a fit for you. He said, why not? I said, well, you don't have any robots. I said, you have a lot of automation. But I don't know a thing about plastic injection. He said, Ken, it's all computers and wires and stuff. You'll do that. You'll be fine. So he said, what's your rate? I said, So I've been thinking about my rate. And I knew a consultant makes more. So what I did was I took my salary in Nissan, broke it down into an hourly wage, took that and doubled it and added 25%.
Okay.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So here's my rate. I've been with the company for 30-something years. So, 3% raise every year, you do good. And anyway, he said, well, it's pretty steep. I don't know if we can pull that off. I said, I'm flexible. I said, I don't know you. I don't think you need me full time. He said, I need ideas for things and jobs you can do without disrupting production. I said, well, I can do this. I can do 3 days a week, or I can do 1 week every other week. Or if you like, I can do 2 weeks. And according to the job, it's a 2-week job. I'll work 2 weeks. I'll take 2 weeks off. Because I'm getting back to the beach, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we make that work. So I went to a temp agency. So I'd have a way to move my cash around. And that's the way I did it for 3 years. And then they took me out. They finally taught me to be an employee for a year. I didn't like it, so we parted ways. And then I got picked up by a company out of St. Louis, Missouri that was retooling an automotive plant in Youngstown, Ohio, moving it from a car plant to an electric truck plant. A new upstart, not related to any other car company. So I did that for a year. And that was.
Well, then you were here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was living here full time.
Nice.
And I would work 10 or 12 hours a day. And at first it was like, okay, you'll fly out there for a week, get some things settled, hire some people, go home for a week, and go back for a week. Then and I know the auto industry. You're not going to do that long.
Yeah.
So as we started getting tooling and stuff installed, and things started moving around. It's like, okay, you need to be here for a week, but you need to go. You can go home on Friday and come back Monday morning. So I drag in Friday night, go to bed, get up Saturday, lay on the couch or lay on the beach. Darcy said, I don't understand why you even come home. All you do is lay around. I said, but I'm laying around in my beach and laying around in my bed.
Yeah.
But then they had it cut. Then I would go for 2 weeks at a time, working 12 hours a day, take a weekend off and go back for 2 weeks. And my contract deal was I fly first class with Delta. I stay at the Hilton. I get my choice around vehicles. And I get a open line of credit for meals or whatever I need. So that's a pretty sweet deal, you know?
Yeah.
So I was doing that. So then they said, well, you need to get an apartment. I don't want an apartment. I don't want to set down roots here. Because some of the other guys are doing, we'll just get an apartment. I'm thinking, no, I'm getting mileage. I'm getting,
Yeah. I
don't want to do that. So anyway, it just got where it was busier and busier and busier. And the people they had hired, the company started this up wasn't a car company. It was a group of investors that wanted to start a car company. Didn't know anything about cars. So they hired people from the old GM plant that I guess they could find cheap. Because they could find, like, if they needed a plant manager, they would find somebody that was a manager and make him a plant manager. And then for the manager, they would hire a supervisor and make him a manager. Well, these people didn't know what they were doing in their jobs.
What was the car company?
Youngstown Motor Company.
And what were they trying to build?
They still hadn't built it.
Well, there's plenty of those. But...
Yeah, because I can't think of the name of it. Because they would come through and we're trying to get the stuff where it'll function and run. They said, we got to build a truck this week. You can't build a truck this week. I can't even run it in manual, never less automatic. So we would actually push the truck down the line because they were roller planets, motor driven, and literally push it from stage to stage, take each robot and run it by hand and run the program. And then make adjustments and then push it to the next. Because the investors wanted to see a vehicle. So we would
put together a vehicle?
Build them a good vehicle.
What is that movie with, is it Michael Keaton? Where they built a bunch of Hondas or something and they were like half-assed put them together to hit a number. Like Gung Ho. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
Yeah.
Made me think of that.
So I worked for them for a year because that's what I told them. Because I started in March one year and March the following year. But that time, we were supposed to be running full automatic. My job was done. So I was still having that timeline in my head because that's all I wanted to do. And it was funny because I came home one weekend. I kept everything up there. I just traveled back and forth with the backpack. So I walk in the door and I've got all my luggage from the Hilton. I've got my coffee maker. I've got everything. I've got all the stuff, most of the stuff from my desk. And I'm coming in like a carnival. Putting it in the entrance to our condo, and Doris looks at me and says, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. But I know this is what I'm doing today. Because I told him, I said, I've got to have a week off. I said, my knee's breaking down. I'm going to have a knee at some point. I said, I'm going to have back injections. I'll overdue those. I mean, I was physically breaking down. I said, I've got to have a week. Whatever you need, call me. I can walk them through it. And a lot of times when I got that weekend off between the 2 weeks, I'd get home on Friday afternoon. They'd call me Saturday morning. We got to have you back here. They don't know what to do. I said, let me talk them through it. You can't talk them through the problem they've got.
Yeah.
So I make a fly out that afternoon and I was right back up there, So
I think you should be charging more.
I know it. So I came home on Friday. They called me Monday morning. They called me on Sunday, said, can you come back? I said, no, I can't. I've already got my doctor's appointment set for this week. Well, we don't really need you. I wanted to say bless your heart, but
yeah.
So anyway, they call me late Tuesday. We really need you to come back up here. I said, I'm really not coming up there. So on Wednesday, they said, well, listen, like with every job I've ever had, I've always trained the guy below me to do what I could do. Who knows, I might get sick. I didn't.
Yeah.
And if the place went to hell, it looked bad on me. So I always had them involved with the things that they needed to know. And I gave them copies to all my files. Whenever I make a file, or I'm going to do this is the plan, you get a copy. So they said, whatever his name was, they said, well, he's ready to take your place while you're gone. I said, I think that's a wonderful idea. And I said, he has all my files. He knows what I'm doing. And, okay. Well, the next day they called me again. They said, well, he thinks he would like to have that job. I said, well, you know what? Let him have it. Because he's a great guy to do it. I said, my contract, we didn't have a contract, but if I did, it'd be up March 1st, and we're in the middle of March. So just box up everything in my desk and ship it to me, and we'll leave on those terms.
Well, that was it?
That was it.
And what was that?
That was in March 2020. Let's see, 5th year, 2020.
Okay. So,
it was right when COVID was coming in.
Gotcha. But you got the real estate in 22.
Yeah.
And started doing everything. Okay. Cool. Awesome. I want to have you back and talk more about these cars things. But for the real estate side, tell people where they can find you, Ken.
My name's Ken Frizzell. I'm with Keller Williams. Take a sip, sorry.
Yeah. All good.
I'm located in Destin, Florida. I serve all of Okaloosa and Walton counties. So I'm not limited to Destin. I do a lot of stuff in Destin, Miramar Beach, Sandestin, Fort Walton Beach, over into Niceville, things like that. But as you see, my doctor's office is across the street, so I don't have any problem driving down here.
Had to drag him out to Rosemary Beach today.
Yeah. A piece of property is a piece of property. The environment's different, but there are things with Keller Williams, like a comparative market analysis. Give me a property, I'll look at what place is sold for, because you can't use what they're for sale for, because that's a dream team, but whether they actually sold for, and give you an accurate price and a range. Do you want to sell it now? Well, that's going to be a lower range. You want to put it on the market with the average people matching people, that's going to come in at your recommendation. We can go a little bit higher, a few $100,000 higher, if you think that your property is unique, you think you'll sell, and you're not on the timeline. So it doesn't matter where I go. I'm licensed all over the state of Florida. So, yeah, you can find me there. You can find me on my website at Ken Frizzell, Frizzell. And that's Ken, not Kim.
We'll leave the pronunciation alone. We got it. Ken, Ken.
Yeah, Ken, Frizzell, Frizzell.realtor.
Love it.
Simple and easy.
I'm going to get you back and talk real estate and cars again. I appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you having me here, and I thank you for the opportunity.
All right. See you again.
Okay.
Bye, guys.